Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Andrea, and in today's video we are going to talk about the new Fenty Beauty foundation, the Pro Filter Hydrating Longwear foundation that Fenty Beauty just launched August 1st. Now this is a very promising foundation. A lot of people requested to do a hydrating foundation as the first Pro Filter matte, soft matte foundation was a little bit too drying. This video is a first impression and also a wear test of this new foundation. I'm gonna tell you everything about it, but before we get into this video, make sure that you have subscribed to my YouTube channel, clicked on that ring bell button if you support this channel. Now let's get into it. Very excited that I have a new background. I mean, I don't think you get to see much, but it's been forever since I wanted to change all the mess that I have behind me. So anyway, let's get into this video. Let's start with the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Primer. This is the Soft Silk Pro Filter Hydrating Primer. So Fenty Beauty didn't just launch new foundations, but they also launched, of course, a hydrating primer. It's going to be my very first time trying this. Let's see how this goes. It's very silky. Alright, so let's apply this. This feels very hydrating, definitely has that silicone-y feeling, so it probably has dimethicone, which doesn't bother me in makeup. Just a few minutes after I've applied this, skin feels very soft, like I've applied an expensive moisturizer. It has that velvety feeling. I still have a little bit of tackiness. Now let's go on with the foundation. So the new foundation looks like this. A different packaging, obviously made of plastic. I personally prefer the plastic packaging because I feel like with the glass one, it's just too heavy, especially if you're traveling or if you're a makeup artist and we tend to take a lot of colors with us. The glass makes it so much heavier. It's true that it makes it more expensive and it gives you like a very luxurious feeling, usually the glass, but I personally prefer the plastic. This is available in the same shades as the Pro Filter Matte Foundation. I've got only 4 shades, but I'm going to try them on my hand and show you how they look like. The darkest color that I have is 190. These are the only shades that I've got. So we've got 120, 160, 180, and 190, which is actually the color that I'm going to use. Now this foundation promises hydrating, medium to full coverage for all skin tones, long wear, light as air. Now we're about to see that. I'm going to put 2 pumps of this foundation. Like I said, this is 190. It's a little bit too light for me. However, it's the darkest one that I have, so I'm going to use it. You can tell that this is much lighter than the Pro Filter Matte Foundation. That one is not as liquidy. I read the ingredients and it does not have alcohol, which is a great thing if you've got sensitive skin. Usually dry skin go hand in hand with very sensitive skin. I'm just going to dot it first, like so. Then I will take my usual IT Cosmetics brush, because this is the brush that I normally use with foundations. I can totally see this foundation being spread with your fingers. It's that kind of foundation. It doesn't dry immediately, it gives you a lot of time to stretch it all over your face. Two pumps were more than enough for my whole face. It's true that I've got a very small face. I still have a little bit left in here, so I don't want to waste that. Dot it where I think I need a little bit more coverage. I'm trying to see how it looks like when I try to build it. By the way, the mirror that I'm using has one side, it's a normal mirror, and the other one is magnifying mirror, and right now I'm looking in the magnifying mirror. Don't try this at home. I'm only doing that because I want to see up close how it sits on the skin. It has a beautiful luminous finish, as you can see. It's definitely hydrating, extremely different than the first foundation that Fenty Beauty launched. It does have really good coverage for being a hydrating foundation. Usually when we talk about hydrating and luminous foundations, they don't have a lot of coverage, but I do love the way this one looks on my skin. It doesn't set, and that is because usually foundations that do have alcohol tend to sort of set really fast on the skin, like for example the Dior foundation, the Backstage. That one is great if you want a foundation that really sets very fast and that does not move. That's why, you know, it's a face and body foundation. This is very flexible, very elastic on the skin. I don't feel it. It's super comfortable on the skin. With the alcohol foundations, you kind of feel it tightening on your skin. However, that doesn't bother me. I know that there are a lot of you that have very sensitive skin and that don't like that feeling. I'm very impressed. It feels very good on the skin. Now, I'm curious to see if I touch it lightly, if it goes away completely, and it doesn't. But of course it does transfer, just like any other foundations that do not have alcohol. However, we're going to do a wear test, so we're going to see how this one lasts. I'm not a big fan of the Fenty Beauty concealer. However, I want to see how it works, you know, with the whole system. Like, I'm using the color 170. The reason why I'm not a huge fan is that it's because it's a bit too drying for me. So this has huge coverage. A little goes a long way. So that should be good. I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty sponge. Bit too light for me though, the concealer. It's unfortunately the 170 is the darkest color I've got for their concealer. No, it kind of looks gray because it's way too light. I don't know if it's you see the same thing on the camera, but for real, my whole area, like, it looks gray. Let me get my NARS. I'm gonna use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is a really good color for me. This is in custard. And I know it's looking a little bit too dark for me, but it's actually great to cancel those dark circles. I'll use the same sponge. Now we're talking. Much better. Can you get me like even closer, or this is the max? That's the max. Okay. So this is how skin looks like. It still didn't set completely, however, it has this very luminous finish. I really like it so far. Now I'm going to set it with the Fenty Beauty powder. I'm using the color Butter. By the way, this is just the mini version of their powder. I'm going to use my good old Hakuhodo Kokutan brush, but first the concealer did crease tiny little bit right here. So I gotta make sure it's out of those wrinkles. You want to make sure your foundation is not in those wrinkles. And then I just very slowly apply the powder. I start with the eye area, go on with the area around the nose. That's where I get oily throughout the day. Around my mouth, because there's a lot of movement in there. Chin. Then what's left on my brush, I'll apply it in the same place where I typically apply bronzer, because if you apply bronzer on a very hydrating surface, it's going to grab onto that surface and it's going to look very patchy. So make sure you first apply some loose powder, some setting powder on the area where you're going to apply blush, powder blush or powder bronzer. or contour and then apply these products. I've applied very, very natural makeup. I want the skin to be the focus. Like I said, I've got oily skin on the T-zone, forehead and nose and chin. I've got pretty dry skin on my cheeks. So I'll let you know how this foundation looks like. Changed my clothes, and what time it is? Can we check? So it's 5:30 p.m. I did my makeup around 3 p.m. The first stop today is going to be at IKEA. And believe it or not, but in Paris there is an IKEA in the city center. We're done at IKEA after wearing sunglasses and my helmet. I'm gonna check back with you in like 2 hours. This is the last check that I do because it's gonna get dark. It's holding on pretty well. Alright guys, I'm back in the studio after 7 hours, and I can tell you that I was wearing a helmet because I was driving around on the scooter, and then I was wearing sunglasses. I did not touch my face. Like, I don't have this habit of touching my face, so I'm very careful, but the helmet sort of touches this area of my face. It still looks really good. It got a bit oily on the T-zone. For hydrating foundation, I would have expected to be, you know, like oil, so much worse. But I'm actually not mad. I did not correct where my glasses, when my sunglasses were on my nose. Like I didn't touch it. I left it just like that, and it didn't dissolve anything. Like, it still looks really, really good. Can you get me closer, please? You see, like, a little bit right here, the foundation faded, and a tiny bit right here. But that's it. 10 p.m. I don't think I'm going to stay much longer. Now, some final thoughts. A hydrating foundation that is not, you know, invisible on the skin. It does hydrate. It doesn't look like a mask on my skin. I would use it for someone with dry skin, sensitive skin. I would just make sure I use the right quantity. Overall, I like it. I would recommend this product if you're looking for a hydrating foundation that lasts. I'm especially impressed with the way it lasts, because I told you, with the helmet, with the sunglasses, foundation tends to fade if you touch it. It didn't emphasize my wrinkles. I want to try, however, a darker color. I feel like this is a little bit too light for me. It just makes me look a bit pale. Other than that, great job, Fenty Beauty. This is it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on that ring bell button if you support this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!